light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. He said God is not a secret to be kept. I know there's a whole bunch of folk running around in the country right now talking about the homosexuals are coming out the closet. They're coming out the closet. I'm wondering when are the Christians? If nobody else help me pathway with y'all, please. I'm wondering when the Christians are going to come out the closet and stop hiding at the light. We're not the light. Take your light, cut it on, and put it in a place. And then say, shine through me, Jesus. Let the light from the lighthouse. I see I can't preach like that. Shine through me. And so he says, we got to recognize that folk are following us. And I know what it's like. 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 I want to stay on this for just a minute because I know what it's like to be watched. Y'all, I've been preaching since I was 10. Yeah. I remember one time, this wasn't my best, but I remember one time, Pastor, I went to one dance. I went to one dance. Now, I could dance. I could. Y'all too young, some of y'all don't remember breaking, but all that stuff, what you mean all? I almost had to get with her, but this is, you don't understand. I take these Stacey Adams off and, it go down. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, I went to one dance. And I remember I walked in, see, back then they wore what they was called, I know y'all don't know nothing about this young girl, but they were called parachute. Now see, you old folks sitting here trying to act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But we wore parachute pants. Y'all know, they were tight right here. Bag in the middle. And they got this little at the bottom. And I remember going to the dance. Do you remember when I went to the dance? I promise you, I wouldn't make this up. I walked into the dance. And I walked out there on the floor, and I promise you, everybody stopped dancing. They stopped and looked at me. So, and they looked at me. And so you know what I did? I backed myself up. I stood up against the wall just like this. And then I tipped on out the door. I know what it's like to be watched. I know what it's like to be watched. But I also know what it's like if you do it the way God said do it. And the impact that you can have. I'm going to get off of this, but I need to tell you this. If you are a child of God, represent. I need y'all to high five somebody right quick and say represent. Represent. Can I talk to my youth just for a minute? Represent. Let me tell you what I mean. Use good grammar and don't cuss. I might should have said that to some of us. Represent. Can I talk to my youth for just a minute? Pull your dadgum pants up and stop exposing your body parts. Represent. I know I ain't gonna get no amen from the youth right there, but represent. Represent. Somebody say represent. You gotta be respectful and obedient to parents, to teachers, and other adults. I need somebody to say represent. Listen, be in the crowd, but stand out from the crowd. I need somebody to say represent. I need you to go to the party. Watch this. Go to the party. Don't stay at home. Go to the party. But when you go to the party, show everybody you can have fun without drinking and drugs. Somebody say represent. Can I go here right quick? Don't have sex until you get married. Represent. Somebody say represent. Somebody say represent. Now the question is, are you going to represent? you going to represent? Follow me. If you follow me, Paul said, I'll take you to Christ. But now before we get too carried away, I know how much time I'm supposed to have. I know how much time I'm supposed to have. You waving me when I'm supposed to sit down. But hear me, I got a couple more things I'm going to tell you. Before we get too carried away, we think that by shouting about it in here, that we seal the deal. But it has to be more than just saying, I'm going to represent. Chapter 9, chapter 10, chapter 11. Watch this. Paul begins to talk about his rights as an apostle. He says, I have the right to be taken care of. That's what he said. This wasn't in my message, Pastor. But while I'm there, since I'm there, this wasn't in my message. Here, man, I'll show you my manuscript. It wasn't in my message. But since I'm there, if this church, I don't know what that is, but if this church don't take, I know y'all probably are, but these pastors that's in here, walking your members are here, y'all supposed to take care. Yeah, Ain't it funny how when we start talking about taking care of the preacher, everything get quiet? Ain't that funny? But when they don't want to pay the NBA, and you ain't gonna have no NBA games, you raise all kinds of sand. But I feel like H. Mitchell Hicks the other night. I'm gonna preach what I gotta preach until I sit down. Because the reality is, Paul said, it's my right for my family and me to be taken care of. And so watch what he said. He said, but, now I'm going to lose the preachers. He said, but, I've never taken advantage of the right. And this is what he teaches. Oh, God, I love it. He said, there is a difference, and I can follow you if you recognize the difference, watch this, between your rights and what is right. Is anybody in this house? I work, that's how I met Jesse and Lavinia and Jessica and Jasmine and the other one that just told me her name and I forgot her name. That's the one. And I work as a registrar at Conrad High School. And I'm convinced. Some of these kids crazy. I'm convinced. Pastor Walker, I know this ain't, I know I shouldn't say this from the pulpit, but I got the mic, so whatever. I can fight, and if I can't fight you, I can run, so whatever. Some of your kids crazy. I mean, some of these kids are crazy. And one day, this has actually happened several times, but one day, in particular, there was this girl went in the classroom. Got 5 minutes to go to the bathroom. But then she get into class. And she said, I need to go to the restroom. Teacher said, well, you can go after a while. I got a lesson to teach. You can't go right now. You don't tell me I can't go to the restroom. Mama, listen, I got to go to the bathroom, and I got a problem, and I got a medical condition. Ain't no papers nowhere on fire. Ain't no papers. Ain't nobody heard of no medical condition. Know nothing about you having no medical condition. I know why some of the youth being quiet because y'all are trying to pull this out. So she ends up in the principal's office, which lands her in my office. And I'll tell you what I did. I said to her, now it wasn't my business because I ain't no administrator. But, you know, I kind of like to say, especially, y'all forgive me. Now, if you ain't black and you in this room, forgive me, but I'm going to be real, I'm real pro-black. I am. And since I know that most of our kids don't graduate from high school still, and since I know that most of our kids, the majority of our kids still don't pass the tax test and other statewide tests, I'm real pro-black, and when one of these black kids come up in my office,